Hello to all Inderes TV listeners and viewers. Stockmann reported their Q4 this morning, and we have the CEO Susanne Ehnbåge for interview. Hello, Susanne.
Hello, nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you too. So let's start a bit of a timeline. Since the Q3 report, you actually raised your guidance for last year quite soon after the Q3 report. So if we can go back and discuss what actually changed back then in your outlook.
Yeah, so the situation in October gave us confidence to narrow the range for the adjusted operating result that we previously then had from 65 to 85 to then 75 to 90 million euros.
Yeah. And you also increased the guidance. So what was driving that then?
Yeah, that we had a good, strong result in October, especially. So since we took the decision then in early mid-November, it was mainly due to the strong October result, and that we believed that we could sort of increase the guidance, but also narrow it, looking at that we only had 2 months left of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then the last 2 months, actually, November, December, at least in the Finnish market figures were quite weak, and they were not spectacular in Sweden either. So was that in your expectations back then, and what do you think actually is impacting that, since if we look at the real income, for example, for the consumers, it's just already up, but yet the clothing market seems to be going pretty weakly.
Yeah, we can conclude that the market turned more negative in November and December, as you say here. However, it's great to see that we as a group will continue to improve versus previous year in local currencies. And I think the macroeconomic analysis for Finland shows that despite that we now see improved purchasing power from increased income and reduced inflation, the consumer confidence is not improved. And the household has rather chosen to save rather to increase consumptions due to economic uncertainties. And I think this has most likely also impacting the clothing and retail market. And Finland is an important market to us, standing for 1/3 of the group's revenue. But we can see signs of this also in the other markets that we are at.
Yeah, good. And then if we look the Q4 more in general, how would you describe that went from your perspective? You improved a bit on the comparison period, but at least my expectations were a bit lower than that. But how did it look for you?
Yeah, I'm pleased with our performance, considering the difficult market situation, and it was in line also with our guidance. Our group revenue for the fourth quarter increased, and in local currencies, the revenue grew by almost close to 4%. And I think we have both here the timing of the Crazy Days campaign that improved for the quarter 4, but also the Lindexin revenue growth that contributed to the increase in local currencies. And looking at the adjusted operating result for the fourth quarter, it improved to 30.2 million euros, where we had 26.1 million euros previous year. And that is related to increased sales, gross profit, together with also improvements on the cost level. So we can conclude that the adjusted operating result improved significantly in local currencies. So of that, I am pleased as well.
Yep, yeah. Then on the restructuring side, you had one more of the remaining disputed debts settled now I guess in the beginning of this year. So you have 2 cases there remaining. Can you say anything about the development on those? How are those proceeding?
Yeah, I think we can say that we have had a good progress in the restructuring process with also now the latest settlement agreement that was just reached a few days ago, meaning that we now only have 2 disputes left. And we continue to have dialogue with the related parties, and as I've said before, we aim to end the restructuring process as soon as possible. But good signs that we now only have 2 disputes left.
Yeah, sure. Then coming back to the market situation for this year, you mentioned, and then we saw the numbers, it was weak in the end of last year. So what was your outlook for this year? Is there any light in the end of the tunnel towards the kind of end of the year, or how does it look for you?
Yeah, I mean, we can see that the market environment in 2024 is expected to remain challenging. As we talked about, we have the high interest rates, inflation that are holding back economic growth. and the retail sector may be affected by lower consumer demand. But I think despite sort of having a challenging market environment, we have succeeded to grow also in the past. And we have good strategies in place to secure growth going forward. And I think especially in Lindex here, we have gained market shares, and we have also increased the number of customers year by year. And this is important to have with us now going into 2024 as well.
Yeah, indeed. And then if we look at your earning guidance, your midpoint is actually the pretty much the same figure where you ended up both in 23 and 2022 actually as well. So pretty stable trend in that sense. But can you discuss a bit on the various kind of positive and negative drivers or kind of risk and possibilities driving the earnings?
First of all, we have a clear plan on developing our business, and we are working determinedly to reach our financial targets in the midterm, as we have stated. And looking at the market outlook, we expect the market environment to be remaining sort of challenging. But I think, as I said, just related to the question before, that we have proven that we have the ability to improve the profitability also in a tough market situation in recent years. And it's still early times. We are in the beginning of February. So I think here we need to come back to see also how the market develops during 2024.
Yeah, sure. And you are planning to start ramping up the new distribution center of Lindex in the fall. So will that have any meaningful impact on your earnings this year, or is it more in the future then?
Yes, since this will then happen more towards the end of this year, we don't see any bigger impact on the P&L for 2024. But of course, we expect to see positive impact during 2025 and onwards.
Sure. All right. Let's see how the year starts to go. So thank you for the interview, Susanne, and good luck for the year.
Thank you so much.